Hey, hey everybody, Prof Sales here.
And Karen.
Look who's back. Back from the great Northwest.
I had the best time.
Yeah, where did you go again?
I worked so hard.
You worked hard. As she was hardly working.
I was in Seattle. Well, I flew into Seattle. I was actually in Tacoma and beyond.
Tacoma and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a name of a show. That's a terrible name for a show.
I could make it into a t-shirt, but somebody might copy it.
Oh, don't even. All right, so let us know, guys, if you can hear us okay in the chat. We'll assume you can, but you never know. And how the heck is everybody doing? I feel like we haven't done a video in forever. You and I haven't done a video in
oh my God, it's been
a week and a half.
A week and a half.
Half a week. And people are happy Karen's back. Me too. Most of all, me. I told her it's just not even remotely the same when you're not here. Like nothing is the same. It's just so crappy.
Aww.
So, but
You're
anyway.
seeing your softer side.
Yeah, it's there, but
Careful.
It wasn't there a moment ago.
I know. Careful. Don't let them see your soft side. Then they'll think you're all soft.
Yeah, we have some subjects to talk about in the show, and we just got a new one.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep him in his seat for the newest one.
So anyway, what were you saying? All right, so hopefully you guys are doing great out there in YouTube land.
Happy Monday. Hope you had an awesome weekend of sales.
Yeah, it is Monday, isn't it?
It is.
Happy post-Easter weekend. Hopefully
Yes.
you guys were able to celebrate that.
We were actually going to call this show Don't Keep All of Your Eggs in One Basket.
That's right. We were gonna call it that,
Well,
which was actually pretty kind of clever.
I was going to call it that, but we opted for, what is it called today?
How to diversify your
wah.
income. Yeah, Charlie Brown's teacher. So, all right. So we got a few things to talk about today, and of course our show topic, which for those of you playing along at home, will come in about the 20-minute mark, approximately, of the show.
This is a live show when we first record it, so know that we are interacting with people via live chat.
Imagine that, the power of the internet. We're actually interacting with other real human beings.
Technology. Ding.
So if you want to skip ahead to the 20-minute markish, you can do that.
Or if you want the good stuff, just stay right where you're at.
Did you know too that you can replay YouTube videos at a faster speed?
Really?
You can. So if you want to short, if you want to, I imagine, but if you want to shorten a show down, people do it with podcasts all the time. They'll play them at like 1.2 speed or 1.3. And yeah, it sounds a little weird, but you can hear all the content a lot quicker. Well, it would if you played it fast enough, I guess. 2x, 3x probably.
But we would not do that. Like, because what would 1.2 save you all of 5 minutes?
It saves you about 20%, you know.
Okay.
20% faster. I don't know. So anyway, so if you ever want to do that, guys, you can do that. You can replay a video at a faster speed and, you know, hear the content. Someone asked, how do you do that? It's on the playback option. Like after it, you can't do it right now, obviously, because we're live. But after this video processes and uploads, you'll be able to do it. I've never actually done it. I just noticed the feature today when I was looking at it. So if anybody else knows exactly where that's at on the player, you can type that in the chat and we'll share it with everybody. So Karen's back, and
Are you sure?
yes, she's back, and that means we can get back to some sense of normalcy.
Some sense of.
But
Okay.
I think we should talk about this t-shirt issue right off the bat, because I am hotter than a firecracker.
And you're probably worked up. And honestly, Margaret can probably. We'll ask Margaret. We'll ask Margaret.
So you notice we have on our Prof Math shirts, which we created a few weeks ago. And thank you to you guys who bought a few of those. We appreciate it. So today I just happened to Google search Prof Math t-shirt. And lo and behold, what comes up? At least three cases where other people are selling this shirt with this font with basically a description that had to come from our headline.
Yeah.
In other words, ripping off our design. 100%. Because when you first talked about this and came up with it, and you researched this font, which took a while to find, and this exact look, there was no other Prof Mass shirt, correct?
No, and that font is very, very expensive.
Yeah, it was kind of pricey to buy. So I'm guessing, and maybe someone else in the chat has experience with this, if you're creating merch shirts and somebody has come in and basically pulled this off of Amazon and put it on their own website. It's not like it's linking back to my listing. They're putting it on their own website.
Well, and you're getting, to be fair, you're getting his reaction very much in the moment. We just saw it 5 minutes ago. So before we get all of these, you know, why don't you look it up here or there, or why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? What we think has occurred is maybe a robot has just snatched the title from Amazon.
Right.
Because it is, I mean, it's kind of silly. If you were going to copy something, it would make more sense if you took off the first part of what they've copied, but it's literally the original title from the Amazon listing. So what we think is a robot kind of swooped through and copied it and took an image grab of the shirt itself, and then boom, there it is.
Right. And people are saying in the chat to report it, and no, we didn't trademark it because
it costs a couple $100, and
yeah, I mean, it's not really worth that. We're not
going to sell that many T-shirts.
But I mean, maybe we can report it. They've thrown it onto their own website. They probably even stole our photo, or stole the photo off of Amazon.
Maybe.
I would guess.
Maybe.
So maybe I can report it. Maybe I can't. But
I think it's cute. I know you don't. But so if anybody ever buys a Prof shirt, T-shirt again, please make sure you buy it from that link down there.
I am not getting any royalties if you go to one of those sites. Or not royalties. I'm not getting any profit from that. That's somebody who's just ripped me off. And, you know, I know it happens, but who am I? Like, to rip off? It's like, see, it's not like I had something that was going to go sell 100,000 T-shirts here. I mean,
well, and I think maybe it might have even come from YouTube. Honestly, maybe it's a robot that snatches YouTube links.
But it would still have to grab the link and go to Amazon to get the info.
Right.
It's not like the link gave them the photo, but anyway.
It's like this shirt doesn't come up, the one with the blue writing. So who knows?
Yeah, it really sucks.
I think it's a diabolical plan to overthrow your Prof Mathness.
Yeah. It's frustrating, guys. You know, I mean, you put some time and effort into finding that font, getting it spaced correctly, getting it lined. I mean, there was some time put into that. So it wasn't like it was just, you know, you did it on a whim in 30 seconds. I mean, you probably spent at least, a couple hours?
Well, because it was the first one.
Yeah. So it kind of sucks. But anyway, so people stealing T-shirts on the internet. What's next? So, all right, what are we on to now? I'm going to get off that topic.
Like, that's the only thing that anybody's ever copied or stolen.
Right.
I think it's kind of cute.
I do not think it's cute at all.
You think puppies are cute?
I think puppies are cute, but this is not cute. This is just dastardly. And if I meet them, anyway. All right. So April sales. Let's talk about April sales. How in the world are your April sales? It's the middle of April, more or less.
How are my sales? Well, I don't really have anything listed anymore personally, so all my stuff sold.
She sold. Oh, did you sell it all?
I sold both of the things I listed.
So Karin was 2 for 2. That wasn't in April, though. I think you guys sold them in March, right?
So that's why I'm at 0.
She's at 0. So she's got more things to list. And my sales have been kind of, I mean, I'm making better profit on what I'm selling this month, but we're just not moving enough items. So it's kind of, I don't know. And I've heard different things from clothing resellers. One thing I have started doing that seems to help a little bit, guys, and some of you are already doing this, and I've done it in different periods. I am trying the whole sell similar when items expire, you know, kind of reigniting the eBay search algorithm, so to speak, and it's pushing up your listings is the idea that it's like a new listing. I don't know if that'll work or not. I've read mixed reviews on the whole sell similar idea, whether it's better to do that or do 30-day listings or do good till cancels. I mean, you know, it's all kinds of theories out there about all this stuff, and I don't think anybody really knows. But You can definitely try that if your sales are struggling. When your item's in, try a sell similar approach. Just remember to delete the old ones after you've relisted, because if you don't, you could go in and I think it will allow you to relist it a second time, which would be bad if you only have one of it and you sell both, because then you won't have it. So I don't know. And Skip says you lose your Google ranking when you do a sell similar. Yeah, that could be true. But I don't know if Google matters. I mean, the only way Google
fix that.
well, Google matters, but to find an item like a pair of jeans, for instance, like that I sell, I don't know that I'm going to get that many sales from Google searches. Maybe I would. I mean, of course I want them if I can get them, but I feel like a lot of the searches probably come organically on eBay, and people are searching there. They're like, oh, let me see if I can find some jeans to buy, or whatever it is I'm selling. But try that, guys. You can try the sell similar. You can mix it up. You can try some of both, I mean, you can try sell similar with some of your listings. You can do good to cancel with some of your listings. You can do 30 days with some of your listings. And, you can play with it and see what happens. If you want to, oh, okay. So somebody was saying something in the chat. But April sales, guys, for clothing can be a little tricky. This is a transitional month. The good thing is there's a lot of inventory out there in the thrift stores, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, for us in particular, we talked about that last time. It seems that people, they don't want to wear jeans, but enough of them are still wearing jeans. So
yeah. So you're probably likely to find a lot of winter and heavy clothing out there right now on your thrifts and even yard sales, estate sales. So look for that. I mean, and you may have to sit on some of it, which, is what it is. But, you're going to be able to sell in the fall. I was telling Karin, like, our October sales last year were pretty good. And if we can hit some of our listing goals by then that we want to hit, we're going to probably double what we did last year, which will be great. And, that'd be great profit. And you just got to remember that you got to take a long-term approach in this. I mean, you act short-term, but you think long-term. And just remember that there is a May, there's a June, there's a July, there's August, September. There's all these other months when sales are going to change and evolve. So you got to be able to be flexible with that. One thing I did buy last week, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you probably saw that.
You bought things last week?
I bought things. So a friend of mine, well, I don't have any here. I can't reach them. You can reach one of those.
I'll be man of one.
So last week, I was put in touch with a local source who sells pallets, and they had a lot of items for sale, including some drill bits. So I went, you pulled like the cheapest ones.
Well, you just told me to grab them. Well, yeah, trust us.
Grab all the thingies. So.
Well.
So,
oh my God, this is heavy.
No, you don't have to grab it. Oh,
I just broke a nail.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I was able to go find some.
I'm gonna hold that one.
All right, so.
A big one. What is that? What the heck is that?
It's a drill bit.
It's a 1-inch Irwin something fancy drill bit. Yes, it's a drill bit.
So I found a bunch of these drill bits at their place. I didn't want to go crazy with what I committed to on the listing. It was on an OfferUp listing. And I wanted to meet with these people, make sure they were legit. And they are. So I definitely found a new source for things. And drill bits, I'm like, I'm going to take a shot. I bought 94 of them. Most of them about half of them are Irwin, half of them are DeWalt. Oh, yeah. Now, the tricky part about that is DeWalt is not sellable on Amazon. It's a restricted brand. And I'm clearly not unrestricted in that category or that brand. Clearly, I'm not. But, some of them are going to go for decent money. I bought 94 of them for, I think, $175. So less than $2 a bit. Some of them are not going to be great. I'll probably lie them together, maybe even reflip them locally. I expect when it's all said and done, I'll probably double my money on them. No better than that, really. So yeah, please. So for a $175 investment to make $325 or $350? Not bad. So we'll see. And you know, it's a new category for me. I do not know a tremendous about drill bits. I've used them before many times, but to sit here and know the ins and outs and selling them, they're all new though. And what I liked about them was this person, it's a team. They had a bunch of pallets of, and they get pulls from Walmart and Home Depot, returns and pulls, and they have to buy a certain amount every month. They're committed contractually. But what I liked about something like drill bits, guys, is, and it doesn't have to be drill bits, there's nothing to break on them. You can look at them and tell they're new. There's nothing to test. There's none of those issues. Could they get returned? I guess possibly. But it's a drill bit. Like, this is not rocket science here. It's a piece of metal. And if it's in good shape or it's a new shape like all of these are, you're pretty much going to have a done deal with the sale. But if you go buy, like, say, a pallet of, like, they had some iPhones they had grouped together, and I'm like, oh. I
was going to ask you about those. They want a lot for those.
Yeah, they were kind of high on those, which they'll take less. I mean, the guy negotiated with me on these, and I'm sure he would have taken maybe even a little less. But when you do something like iPhones, first you got to worry if they're working. You got to worry if they're stolen, if they're in great condition or not, if they've been returns. So there's always more issues with electronics. Granted, there's more money, but I don't know if there's more margin. You know, like iPhones new, if you want to sell new iPhones and compete with the big boys, it's a low margin business from what I understand, like single digits. So you got to be able to move a lot of volume to really make it, because there's so many people competing in that space. But in other spaces, you don't have to do that. So my tip for you guys is this. If you're going to go buy something that's out of your comfort zone, or not comfort zone, but like out of your zone of confidence about if you know what it is, try to find new and try to find things you don't have to test and you can look at and be reasonably sure that they're in great shape. Because that way, when you go to sell them, you know what you're dealing with. You're not going to miss anything on a drill bit. Yeah. There's nothing to miss. You know, it's like, it's a drill bit. It's not rusty. It's good. So I'm not going to make a fortune on those guys, but I did start a relationship with this person. So who knows where that'll lead.
Well, and it really kind of segues right into what we're going to talk about, honestly, because you can't be afraid to try new things, right?
Yes.
We talk about that a lot.
Yes. Yes. So there's my tip for you guys. And, you know, I'll go back to these guys when they're always going to be getting stuff in. They're looking to move into an even bigger space. And they had everything it appeared they had everything they said they had in their ad. So I have no reason to believe that they're not who they say they are.
They even were selling a tree.
Yeah, well, they were selling a tree. Free. That's right.
Remember the fallen willow? It was some.
Yeah, they just wanted somebody to come take it, chop it up, and use it for firewood or make it into a canoe.
It wasn't big enough to make into a canoe.
It was a big tree. You could have made that into a canoe. You totally could have canoed that tree. Anyway.
We digress.
So, some other people had some comments here. Phones could have a virus. Yeah, that's very true. For electronics, sometimes you could be dealing with viruses.
iPhones can get viruses? I don't think they can. And plus, with a lot of this stuff, you take out the SIM card and it's not married to the carrier anymore.
Right. There's a whole idea if it's unlocked or not, which means it's locked to a certain carrier or not. Because if it's not unlocked, then you have to use that carrier's service, which limits who you can sell it to. You're like, oh, it's a Verizon phone, but that doesn't mean someone else then can't use it unless they can unlock it.
And we know from, personal experience, it's not that difficult in some situations to get a phone unlocked.
Yes, right.
You just have to talk to the right person.
And Thomas makes a great point where he says, if you have multiples of the same item, it increases your listing efficiency. Yeah, you're exactly right. The tricky part for me with something like that is people will bundle together drill bits. So I'm not totally sure, which ones to bundle together because it's just not my comfort zone. But there are several multiples of those. So I can say, all right, I got one of these, or I got 6 of these, and they're going to sell for $15, and I make one listing, and I'm done. I figure out what the shipping is and all that good stuff. So you just have to, branch out a little bit, guys, which kind of does bring us to the show topic. Isn't that weird how we segued?
Dun, 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 dun.
I like that. We need to do that every time. But first of all, Karin, there's 105 people watching, which is amazing on a Monday.
I'm back.
because she's back. So what do you think they should do if they are enjoying this content?
I think they should pew, pew, smash it. That was my Wonder Woman. Pew, pew.
Nice.
My
Like you're Linda Carter, like somebody shooting bullets at you.
We're blue-eyed brunettes, right? She's blue-eyed.
I liked Wonder Woman back in the day, but probably not for the same reason you did.
Probably not. I love Linda Carter. I think she's a beautiful woman, still a beautiful woman. But if you like what you see, pew, pew, smash it. I wish I had the headband. I would put it on.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. She was like supposed to be an Amazon or something, right?
All right. Yes. Note to self, get Wonder Woman costume.
This show just took a turn. I don't know where that went. But anyway.
But glad everybody's here. Let's move on.
Okay, moving on. All right, so show topic. We should have like a thing that pops up and says show topic.
Jazz hands.
Right.
That's jazz hands.
Okay, so how to diversify your income. So Cara and I talked about this earlier, and we're going to talk about some other aspects of this topic down the road. But I wanted to talk about diversifying your income. And let me explain what that means to me. Or were you going to say something? Sorry.
No. We purposefully called it diversifying your income because we're going to talk about both the reseller part of this.
Right. And then
other parts of it. Yeah.
Right. So most of you, if you're out there and you're reselling, let's say you resell in a certain niche. And like, we have a niche of clothing, and even you could even make sub niches of that, jeans or shirts or whatever. But, you have a way that money is coming to you from reselling. And if you're reselling, you're probably depending on an e-commerce platform like eBay or Amazon, or maybe you're selling locally on OfferUp or all these other sites. But what happens if you are no longer able to get product, or you were banned from one of those sites? You would lose your source of income, right? And if that was your only source of income, you would be in a difficult situation potentially, because you'd have to scramble to, find a new source of income. So a lot of people who are financial entrepreneurs, I guess, I don't want to say financial experts because they don't always suggest this. But a lot of people who've made it as entrepreneurs and business people will tell you it's important to diversify your income streams. And it really comes down to what happens when one of those streams goes away. And I'll let you talk about the reselling part, but I want to give my example first. Will that work?
No, it was
great.
Do that. That's how we did it this morning.
All right. So some of you might be saying, some of you out there probably have a job. All right. You got an 8-to-5 job, whatever. And maybe you resell on the side. So you're already having two streams of income to some degree. But I heard this great example yesterday about being a business for yourself. And I was listening to a real estate podcast. And this realtor was talking, or this real estate investor was talking to an airline pilot. Now, airline pilots make pretty good salaries from what I understand, like well up in the 6 figures. And I don't know exactly how much this person made. It doesn't really matter. But the airline pilot was working, just as an airline pilot. And he told the investor, he said, I don't want to invest in real estate because it's too risky. Suppose I lose money. Suppose, my investments don't work out. That's what he said to the real estate investor. All right. And the real estate investor had a great response to that. He said, well, look, let's think about it this way. You work for, let's just say it's American Airlines, and you work as a pilot, and they give you a paycheck. That's your only source of income. What happens if you get disabled? What happens if they lay you off or they fire you? What happens? Your income goes away. In my example, I'm a real estate investor and I own 150 real estate investment properties that are producing income each month. In addition, I own a wholly separate business which has nothing to do with real estate. If one of my tenants moves out or I have to evict them, I lose 1/50th of my income, my real estate income, but I still have 149 other houses. I still have my other business. I don't go down just because one thing goes poorly or goes south. So who really has the bigger risk there? I would argue it's the pilot, because the pilot the pilot's making one bet. He's betting on that job, and he's betting on the job security, which doesn't exist, that he will continue to get a check as long as his employer continues to keep him employed, and that will go on for as long as the employee wants. Well, guess what, gang? That employer could let him go at any time. Anytime. So this idea of risk and diversifying your income is important to think about, because if you're not diversifying your income and you only have one source of it, you're putting yourself at tremendous risk.
Well, when you first started telling that story and you said that he was a pilot, I mean, getting in an airplane, he's taking a risk.
Yeah. You could
I
die.
mean, not as high as other things. So I don't really need statistics on airplane crashes, et cetera. But, you know, just by virtue of what he does, he's taking a risk. So I thought that was very interesting. That was a good example. And
then you can diversify in reselling. And
I mean, we do that all the time.
Right.
You know, you started out, well, you started out way different. I think we've told that story several times. But you know, most of our bread and butter is jeans, right?
Right.
And we don't, you know, we don't buy all of the things all of the time, because we just don't have the capacity to know everything about everything. So we've been diversifying our inventory as well. And now we've gotten into shoes. And it turns out what's interesting for us is that our return on a pair of jeans, what is it? Like, give me a number.
Yeah, about $12 net.
Right. So one pair of jeans. And now as we're getting into shoes, we're having fun with shoes, right? And I think we're more official now. We've sold 4 pair of shoes. Oh, and that's a funny story. When can we tell that?
We'll tell that after we finish the topic.
But what's interesting for us with shoes is we sell 1 pair of shoes and we net what, 2.5 pair of jeans?
About 2.5 times.
Yeah, 2.5 times what we would on 1 pair of jeans. So in that example, that's really paying off for us. That's smart as well.
Yeah.
But you don't only diversify, like that's an example of, remember, we're keeping costs down, prices up, and we're trying to move up our profit, right?
Right.
But also, what about the supply of those items? You know, we're not running into it yet, but certain times of the year, jeans might not be. You know, our Goodwills actually take them down this time of year. So the fact that we're getting out and do you remember? Like they'll only have the 1 row,
right?
Because they want to put in all the summer clothes, right? So diversifying also will help benefit you with your supply, I think.
Agreed.
And what's next on the horizon for us as far as diversifying what we sell and reselling? You know, oh, and are you talking about platforms? Or is that on the list, I guess? Because that's another thing.
Yeah, that goes with reselling. Yeah.
You diversify where and how you sell it. You know, right now we sell on Amazon and eBay.
Right.
Less on Amazon than before.
For sure.
But there's all kind of platforms, you know. Oh, I'm sorry. Locally, Garage Sale. No, not Garage Sale. What's the other one? OfferUp, Craigslist.
Yep.
Yep. So those are local. And we like those with larger items because it's a cash sale, right?
Right. And you don't have to ship it.
Nope. You just meet somebody at the Starbucks coffee or at the police department or whatever. It's done.
Yeah.
Right. And then there are even other outlets that many of our friends subscribe to, Poshmark, Etsy, etc.
Sure.
So that's a way to diversify your reselling as well.
Because you could get kicked off of one of those
or
suspended. I mean, it can happen. It does happen to people.
Right.
And for various reasons.
And thank heaven, knock on the glass desk, that we don't have experience. But if you're running multiple accounts off of the same address at home, we don't know yet, but there's some say that affects the other. So if you get blocked on one,
you might get blocked on all of them.
You might get blocked, and we just don't want to take that risk, right?
No, of course not.
No, so you have that way to diversify as well.
Right, and some of the other ways, guys, we've diversified. I can just say from my personal experience, the other ways that we've diversified our revenue is several. One is this channel. I mean, this channel generates AdSense revenue. Is it a living wage? Is it some hugely significant chunk? No, of course it's not. But it's building, it's growing, and I'm happy about that. And it doesn't cost viewers anything. It doesn't cost anybody anything unless you're watching an ad. So that's a way you can do it, is being a content creator. So that helps justify, some of the time and energy we put into it. And, Karin was like, are you sure you want to throw that out there in the universe that, hey, you make money on YouTube? And I'm like, the other content creators make money on YouTube as well. What do they tell people they're doing or not? They do. Is it a lot? In some cases, it's maybe a lot. In some cases, maybe a little. It depends on your definition of a lot and a little, I guess. But is it worth the time and energy you put into it? Again, that depends on your definitions. But so what? You know, so what if they do? I mean, this is just the way the world works now. We've also gone into, you know, we sell the spreadsheet. You know, the spreadsheet is for sale. We've sold, you know, several of them. I mean, it's income. It's helping people. It's something I like to do. I've gotten tremendous great feedback about it. I've already got in place additions and things to improve about it for next year's. So why not? You know, I mean, it's a revenue stream. Affiliate marketing with, you know, like I think I have a link on here to TubeBuddy, which I use for my channel, and it's an affiliate link. If you guys want to create a channel and use Affiliate Buddy or TubeBuddy, excuse me. All right, great. You know, it's fine. Like, I don't know what the, you know, what a big deal about that would be. Merch. I just realized I wrote March. I think it auto-corrected.
What does last month have to do with
our counterfeited t-shirts. You know, that's a different revenue stream that Karen's been instrumental in making the designs and so on. That's only going to grow. And that's separate from reselling. At least I look at it separate from reselling. And then there's, I already hit that. Then there's Amazon Associates, which you guys can see the links in this video to products that we use, things we use in our business, and you may find value in having for yours. If you don't, that's okay too. It's not like I would say, hey, you need to buy this or else you're going to fail. I mean, that's ridiculous. But you have to have these other sources of revenue, and those sources might not be right for you. Some of the ones I read off, but guys, if you're helping people and it's coming from somewhere in your heart and you're able to monetize your assistance to somebody and you're not asking them to, you know, hand over an arm and a leg, you know, I think that's okay. Like, I feel like that's okay. Like, I feel like that's not unreasonable for content creators and for people who are putting themselves out there to ask, as long as they're not, you know, just like spamming people to death with it and saying, hey, do this, do this, do this. And I don't think we have. All right. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something there?
I probably was.
But, you know, kind of going back to what we said here, guys, any of these streams that we just mentioned,
which include your 9 to 5 or your eBay business, right?
If you're working, that's a great point. Like, I never even looked at, if you're working your 9 to 5 job, that's a revenue stream. And guess what could happen at some point? It may fail. It may fail. What's funny to me, and I told Karen, I said, what's ironic to me is the very same people often that I meet who will say, oh, I never want to be in business for myself because I'm afraid I'll fail and then I'll be out of money, out of luck, whatever. Those are the same people who have no problem working for someone who created a business that might fail. I just find that kind of ironic. Like, you think that person's so smart and so awesome and you're not? Like, I almost feel like that's a self-esteem issue sometimes for people. Like, they're just worried. Well, okay, everybody worries about failing sometimes, but if it paralyzes you, that's a whole nother issue. You got to find a way to get past that, and not just in starting a business, like anything.
I don't think too many people look at their vocation as, you know, as far as putting all of your eggs in one basket. Like, I wonder how many people would stay at the jobs they're at if they looked at it that way. Like, you're basically, and that's why I left my job, because, and that was voluntary on my part, but you're putting all of your faith in that one person, that one organization, that structure.
Yeah.
Sorry, but just keeping it real, people.
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. Like, here's what's interesting too along this. Let's say you work somewhere at your 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever, and you don't like your boss. You don't like your boss's boss. You don't think the company is run well. You don't think the work is done the correct way. You don't like your coworkers. The product sucks. Whatever. Like, you've got any or all of these things. And yet you're hitching your horse to that idea that that company is always going to provide you security in income. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. Or even if you're there and you think everything's great, my boss is awesome, the work, I really enjoy it and get a lot out of it. I like who I work with. I like dealing with my customers. Guess what? Even those businesses can still fail. They can still fail. And even though they've been successful forever, they can still fail. Or worse, they can look at you and say, you know what? I'll never forget this. I guess I was like in my mid-20s, and I had this job at a business college, and I was processing loans. All right? Processing loans. And I was processing loans for students. And it didn't pay a lot, but it was okay, you know, whatever. And they opened up this job for me and one other person to be a representative for the college. So our job was to go to high schools and job fairs and things like that and try to recruit students to come to our college. And my pay was basically double. It basically doubled from what I was making, which at that time was awesome for me. I don't remember what I made, but it doesn't matter. But I got to travel around. It was pretty cool. I got to talk to people, you know, whatever. It was not a boring job. And this went on for like 3 months, and I loved it. And I remember, I'll never forget, I came in on like a Tuesday or something. I don't remember what day it was. And somebody who was like a VP at the company or the VP at the school said, yeah, the owner decided that they didn't want to spend the money for your department. So you and so-and-so, I'm sorry, you're no longer employed. Just out of the blue, out of the blue. Not because we did a bad job, not because they weren't getting results, because it'd only been like 3 months. We didn't even know what the results would be because it hadn't started a new semester yet. We had no idea, no idea. He just decided, he looked at it on paper and said, this isn't worth it anymore. And I'm like, I'm now out of work. And I think I'd been married for like 6 months at that time, maybe. Not to her.
Not to me.
But, and you know, and they said, oh, but you can go back downstairs and get your old job back, but it'll be at this rate of pay. Which was basically back about where I was before, which wasn't really making it. What job security did I have? Because the owner of that company on a whim decided he didn't want to spend that money, I was out of a job. Not because I did a bad job, not because he did like me. And I actually kind of liked him. I mean, he's kind of a jerk, but he was always super nice to me. But none of those things. And later he made me a leader in that department, although I didn't make any more money for that either. And that's a whole nother story. But my point is, guys, like, you don't have job security when you work for someone else. They can do whatever they want to you, and you have no power over it.
Well, and not to get all philosophical or gloom and doom, but stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
Like fires and things, and anyway, life happens. So you never know. So it doesn't hurt to be able to adapt, pivot.
Yep.
Right. We use that word a lot too, as well. Adapt, or, you know, for whatever reason, you know, some people do reselling for extra money. Some people do it for all the money. You know, that's all you do.
Right. Right.
So you just have to be, and whatever happens, it's never the end of the world. There's other things out there. You just have to be willing and able to adapt to it.
Yeah.
And if you want to make more money, I think our point today is, you know, diversify your streams.
Right.
Don't cross the streams.
What's that reference?
There's always one in every show, right?
There is. Yeah. And you make a good point, Karin. And I think it's important to remember too, guys, that, you know, if you're a business owner and you're reselling or whatever your business is, you have to make decisions that are right for your business. And when you have a buyer who comes to you and wants you to bend over backwards to give them money and give them money back or ship it here, do this, you have a tendency to say, I'm just a one-man or one-woman show. I can't afford to do that. Well, guess what? Even if you work for a bigger company, there's somebody up the line saying, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. I mean, these decisions are made, you know, it kind of in a vacuum sometimes. And yes, they affect real people. But, you know, if you make the decision to go work for someone and only do that, you are putting yourself at risk. There's no other way to say it. You're putting yourself at the risk that that person at some point is not going to view you or your position as valuable to the company anymore. Or your benefits package could be cut, or your retirement planning. I mean, whatever. Like, because at the end of the day, guys, especially as companies get bigger, you are just a part of an aggregate of numbers. Your salary.
A cog in a wheel. You say that all the time.
A cog in a wheel. So you have to remember that when they make these decisions, just like you make decisions in your reselling business. And if you hire an employee or bring somebody on, you may reach a point where you're like, I can no longer support, the income this person's making, and I'm gonna have to let them go. Are you a terrible person for that? No, it's just the way it happens. You make decisions in business, and sometimes they don't go right. So hey, here's Margaret in the chat.
Margaret, we have to talk later. Somebody stole our shirt.
Yeah, they stole our shirt, Margaret, but I'm sure you've probably had that happen. Who are you gonna call? Yep, they got it. Ghostbusters. All right, Michelle got it first. Okay. You are just a placeholder until the robots are built. Well, guess what? Somebody's got to build the robots. Oh, think about that for a moment. But anyway, anytime there's new technologies, things get disrupted. I mean, that's just the way it works. All right, so what else? Let's see. And if you guys have questions, and they can be about what we talked about, but they can be about anything else too. Type the word question, or 2 or 3 question marks in front of your question so we know it's a question.
Well, and you know what would be cool to stay on topic a little bit? Anybody that has other ideas about how they're currently diversifying their revenue streams. Because I know that, a good part of our community works a day job and then sells eBay, Etsy, etc. by night. Another part of our community is full-time online reseller, right?
Right.
But then other people, that have found a way to do more, do better, sell all the thingies, whatever, share that with everybody. That would be cool to continue, at least stay on topic for a little longer before we go all crazy.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's exactly right. So again, leave your comments in the comment field down below if you're watching this video later. And we do try to answer ones as best we can. It gets a little tricky. Quick question here. Krillin said, have you ever involved looking into Airbnb?
Staying at one?
No, not really.
No, that's not what he means.
Not really, Krillin, but maybe we'll look at it.
Well, we don't own this house either, so there's that.
Yeah, we're leasing this house, so. Large Bargains, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. That was nice. Oh, that's great show. Love watching it.
Large, that was nice. Thank you.
Big thumbs up.
I wish we could thumbs up.
I know, right? It seems like you should be able to. What can you do on that? You can report.
Yeah, no, don't report that.
I'm not reporting. Okay.
Here's one.
But promote. Well, then we move to the next idea. Yeah. Okay.
Nicholas. It looks like Nicholas does a little bit of everything, actually.
Yes. We make fishing products and sell online, so we make a product and sell.
And then you mentioned vending machines earlier.
Nice. So Nicholas is proving the point that, hey, you diversify out into different streams, because going back to the real estate example for a moment, that developer, that investor made the point, guys, that I think he was quoting Tony Robbins, who said, there's kind of like 7 big ways you can diversify your income. And at any given point in history, or different points in history, all of those ways have failed and crashed miserably at some point. Mm-hmm. So, to think that I'm just going to keep doing this forever and it'll keep going forever is just silly. You don't know that. I mean, things change, industries evolve, economies rise and fall with all kinds of events. So you've always got to be looking for ways to sort of hedge against one way or even 2 ways just really crashing and burning on you, because they can and they will. So I think that's important.
Well, and somebody, Spiky said that making your own product is tops. That's something that I'm looking into, actually.
Yeah.
Some creative, artsy kind of stuff. One of the things I did when I was in Tacoma was I took a glass blowing class, and it was
lots of
amazing. But it really fed my soul. I didn't realize how much, I try to get as creative as possible with the jeans. You're about quantity. I'm about quality. Let's be clear with the photographs. But I found that I need that outlet. So how cool would it be? And the shirts helped that as well.
Yeah.
Because I was able to spend a good solid couple of days creating the designs on the shirts, and I so enjoyed that. So, the, Prof Sales part of this business will go one way, and then we're going to take it, at least this part of the partnership is going to take it, and I'm going to start pursuing some and selling on Etsy as well. So,
and just to kind of talk about that a little bit, Cara and I were having a big discussion today about like where we're going to live going forward, because this particular house, it has some pros and cons, but if we're going to stay here, we need to reorganize our work environment, which that'll be a cool video or two as well. So we're talking about that and what that's going to look like. We're going to make some decisions on that. I think we set a time limit by the end of this week, right? We're like, we're going to make decisions and start implementing a plan for what we're going to do going forward.
Well, and we'll be able to talk about, because of the ad we're going to place, we'll be able to talk about lots of things on Friday.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we'll talk. Oh, don't say too much.
I know, it was just a little sneaky peek.
All right, so one other thing to cover for this, guys. Tonight we have a cool show, and this is something new. All right, something new and improved, or I don't know if I'd say it's improved. It can't be improved.
It can't be improved yet because it's new.
Right, we can't improve on the newness.
But it strives to help others improve. Oh!
Yes. So tonight on the show, guys, at 8 o'clock, we're going to be here live on my channel with Casey, the Rockstar Flipper, Luke from Endless Entrepreneurs, and Chris Lynn from 10K on the Bay. You get 4
for the price of none.
This is not 4, by the way.
No,
this is 5.
This is 4.
This is 4 for the price of 1. So tonight, guys, we are going to be starting the first in a series. We have a working title of Reseller Fireside Chat, but that's probably not what it's going to end up.
I like to call it the mind meld.
She's going very Star Trek-ish on us. But what we're going to be talking about tonight, guys, is photos on eBay. And let me explain that in a little more detail, because that subject's been done to death. But we've taken a different approach to it. And without giving too much away, we've really analyzed each of our 4 processes for photos. So we're going to share those with you, but we're also going to have kind of a roundtable discussion about which ones work and how and why and what we like about each other's, and then give you guys questions to ask about, primarily about photos. I mean, we can take some other questions too, but we'd like to keep it as much on topic as possible, because I feel like photos, especially for eBay, is a subject that just, I don't know, it just confuses people, gets them frustrated. Just everything about photos, guys. This is everything about it. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to take this shot. This is about what to take them with, how to transfer the photos, how to attach them to the listing, which ones to take, how many to take for what specific items, how quick are you, how efficient, all these things. And we're going to, if you want to learn about photos on eBay, and I'll be totally honest with you, the 4 of us, we all 4 have different ways we do it. It's not like this is all going to be like, oh, this is all just one way and we're all 4 talking about it. Nope. Luke has a different way than Casey, than Chris, than I do. I mean, we all have different methods and different ways. And we've been tracking some results on this to see if one of us has, a better way to do this or a better way to do that. So that's what we're going to share tonight. And I'm really excited for it, because I think we're going to have a cool series of shows like this going into the future. And I think that's pretty cool, because I think anytime, guys, you can get like 3 or 4 people focused on one topic. It's going to be an hour-long show, but you'll have a good at least 20 minutes probably for questions, just so you know. But we're kind of going to go through a format for the first 2/3 of it about what we're going to do, and then you guys will have chances to ask questions and so on. So I'm excited for it. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is the only time. East Coast represent. But
peace, brother.
That was horrible. That was just bad.
We'll work on that. But it speaks to the reason a show like this is such a great idea is that we talk all the time about there's no correct one way to do anything.
Right.
And that anybody that's been part of these shows, ours or other YouTube content providers, knows that you just sort of get a nugget here and you get one there, and you make it work for yourself.
Yep.
And that's why I'm so excited to see it, because you're getting like 4 different points of view all together, and you get to take the best from that. And it's the best, and it's the best of the best. I think. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Oh, but I kind of do. I guess I'm a little partial.
What's the song? You're the best.
That's
You're
not
the
what
best.
I meant.
Never
But
I can't remember how that goes.
It's, you know, it's getting some saturated sellers. It's not a good way to put it. Sorry, Chris and
What does that
and
even
Luke,
mean?
if you're still in the chat, but you're getting people that have been really doing it, and you guys took the time to analyze yourselves.
Yeah, what
to
we're doing.
bring that
So
information in, and I think that's going to be really cool to see.
Yeah, so that's a great show we have coming tonight. So check that out, 8 o'clock. The other show we have coming up is tomorrow night.
I'm really excited about that one.
Oh, but we have Jason Clark coming on.
With a name like Jason, come on.
Exactly. I mean, you know, all right. So you guys may or may not know Jason Clark. I know a lot of you guys are eBayers, but Jason Clark is primarily an Amazon guy who used to do eBay, and he did eBay way back in the day in that run.
Mm-hmm.
And he is, over the last couple years, transitioned to Amazon. And this guy is like $1 million seller on Amazon, literally $1 million seller. So, you know, that's pretty good. And Jason, though, God, man, Jason is one of these guys who, like, I guess I first contacted him back last spring, and he didn't know me from anybody. We're in the green room together, and I'd seen his post, but I thought, you know, I'm just going to reach out to this guy about some Amazon questions. And he was so super generous with his time and his answers. And he just was like, I mean, he went so far above and beyond my expectations. Like, I came into this, I actually called him. And I think we either did a Skype call or the phone. I can't remember. And I came into this call with this whole set of questions I was going to ask him. And he just started talking. And I was like, I could ask this question or that question, but honestly, what he's telling me right now is like 100 times more valuable. So, and he is super helpful with his time and super generous. And I can't wait. But we're going to talk about in that show going from eBay to Amazon. So if you ever consider doing that, maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to diversify like we were talking about earlier. Maybe you want to go wholeheartedly in Amazon. And Jason is becoming a huge player in Amazon. And I couldn't be more excited about him coming on the show. And, you know, he really breaks it down in a way that is kind of hard to put into words, because Jason, he analyzes it inside and out, and then he just goes out and executes, you know, and like nobody's business. And he is growing just a monster business over there. So I think, guys, like, even if you're not interested in becoming an Amazon seller, and Jason's was on eBay for many years, and he'll tell some of his background, I'm sure, but like his thought processes and the way he thinks about this game is just at a higher level. Like, you know, definitely somebody that I look up to as a seller. And I'm excited about that show. So tomorrow night he'll be on, I think it's also at 8 o'clock.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern, yeah. He's a West Coast guy,
Peace.
but, you know, whatever, West Coast, East Coast, whatever.
Well, and you know, you have been really blessed with an amazing, I don't know, support system in this community.
Very true.
And it just required you to show up and ask. I don't want to even say ask the right questions, like just ask questions. Like, you really immerse yourself and have been really blessed with an amazing, and that's, you know, and that's what we're trying to do here. Right. Is to give back. Right. Right. And to help other people, because I mean, Jason was, when you first told me that you reached out to him, and have been a couple of people along the way that you've done that. And I'm like, they really called you back? Wow. Wow. Yeah. But when I can remember when you guys first started talking, and he is a very smart man. He's been doing this for a long time.
A long time.
And he's really good at it. So it's not like he's been doing the same thing over and over again. Right. He's evolved. He's adapted. And he's, like you said he's a next level up.
And he's super positive about it too, and encouraging.
Oh yeah, I don't think you've ever said anything that he's been. No, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's just like, he's like a can do, will do, gonna do, you can do too kind of guy. You know, there's a lot of do's.
Do-wop, do-wop, do-wee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
But anyway,
Shoo-doo-be-doo.
all right, guys. So we're coming to the end of the hour here.
Maybe as we start singing, that might be a good thing.
So yeah, so diversify your income. That was the big topic of the show, around about the 20-minute mark if you're just catching this now. And, you know, think about that, guys. Think about ways you can diversify your revenue, whatever it is. Reselling, investing, buying real estate, you know, investing in commodities, the stock market, whatever it is. You know, your job cannot be your only source of income.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right, right. And there is job security is an oxymoron. There is no such thing. Because you are always at the whim of other people and you just never know what's going to happen with that. So be sure you think about that, like how you want to diversify your revenue, and always be building those streams. And I think you'll be able to sleep easier at night knowing, hey, if this falls apart tomorrow, I still got X, Y, and Z. So,
and we're so glad everybody could join us on this happy Monday, right?
Yes.
And if you liked it, pew, pew, smash the like button, just like Wonder Woman would.
Leave me a question or comment too, guys. And like I said, we'll be on tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time with Casey and Chris and Luke. And it's going to be a fun show about photos on eBay. The link is already up, so you can set your reminder. It's there. Just set the reminder so you'll know that when we go live. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Not your same old taking pictures for eBay video, that's for sure. It's a lot more than that.
That's weird. Somehow I just activated Siri.
Oh, make it go off, because she's going to like start talking to you in a second.
All right. All right, guys. Well, take care. Hopefully we'll see you guys tonight, and hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.
Yeah, and have an awesome week, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Prof Sales.
And Karin.
Good sales.
Good sales to you.